Hello, and welcome back to City Skylines. This is a episode not in New Fault. This is an episode in Sandy Beach. This is a Cities by Diana City, slightly edited because I don't have every single content creator pack. But we're here to do a build competition, which should be great fun. Build competition area is here. And while I was fixing up the districts, I evidently missed out these houses on the whoopsie daisy. Whoops. Anyway, getting back to this, the city is losing money, so we'll pause it there. We have 6 million to work with. If needed, I'm probably allowed to go and turn on unlimited money. But this area, outlined by the roads and the sea, is what we've got to work with, and it's a bit of a crazy area if you look at the terrain. I want to create a seaside town with a beach, which if we look underwater, that's going to be difficult. We're going to have to do quite a lot of terrain work without extra landscaping tools, so pushing me outside of my comfort zone. But I want a seaside town using Brooklands and Queens 1x2 and 1x3 assets, which are terraces. I love terraces. Probably the easiest repeated asset pattern we can get in this game in vanilla, and it's the only way to get terraced housing in vanilla. Something that is very annoying for me living in the UK, especially because obviously I draw a lot of my inspiration from here, from where I live, and a lot of what happens in most of the housing where I live is repeated blocks. From basically the 19th century to now. In the 19th century they would have had some more upper class terraces and lower class terraces. More recently, more types of terraces and semi-detached houses and basically all sorts. Anyway, first thing I want to do. Ooh, the game sounds right up. Give me a sec. But it's not right up. Well, we'll turn it down to 5, 7. Anyway, we're not really meant to mess with these roads, but it was lumpy and bumpy. So I'm going to do a bit of messing around with the terrain, which is going to cost a fair bit. We should end up with more. It's not having it. Okay. Slope from here. Slope from the sea up to there. Slope from the sea up to there. It's the strength. The strength's too low. It's been too long since I've landscaped with extra landscaping tools. Whatever. Stop making excuses and get better. It doesn't have to be perfect. Obviously we can then just come out in and soften it out. But just a bit of sloping. And I have a very specific idea in mind for what I want to build. We'll get to that in a minute. So yeah, whoops, undo, there's no undo button. That was not ideal. That's going to cost me quite a lot. Not if you drag this out like that. And then drag this out to be here. Use this height. Slope it up from there. Use this height. Wow, it's difficult without the landscaping tool mod. Really is. Anyway, let me come in with a bit of smoothing gun. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's more get it right. Anyway. Oh. Forest brush ain't working. I might have to reload the game. My apologies. Forest brush does this to me often, in the sense that it just don't work. I want to remove all of these trees. but I can't at the moment. Hold on. One more bit of sloping. So yeah, I want a seaside town, and I'm really looking forward to this competition. We will skip next week due to all sorts, and due to me being away. Probably have a week on after that, and then we will skip a couple of weeks because again I'm away. It's the summer. We can all celebrate. 1 minute. I'll just cut to when I've reloaded the game. So, unfortunately, my microphone decided to mute itself, and I did not realise. So I've actually ended up having to do this as a slight time lapse. It's only 2 times speed. I know it looks like more than that. That's just because I'm bad at camera. But to be fair, it probably warrants time lapse. A very time lapse of the episode. And I do say a few wrong things later on in the episode about what I thought I was going to do. This is just down to the fact that I was away for a week in between recording, and so I do end up being a bit not sure entirely of what I was thinking. This wasn't intentional, but it just happened that way. I needed a bit more time between to record this episode because it is vanilla, and I say this quite a lot later, and it's just something I'm not used to. It's kind of novel for me. Excuse me. So yeah, it does take a bit of tweaking all over the place. And I actually end up accidentally the mic muting itself, or me muting the mic. This time it was definitely the mic muting itself. I don't know why it does that, but it does. But the other time it was me leaving it on mute after and not bothering to check, which is entirely on me. But I have to voice over again later. And honestly, very pleased with how this railway came out. There was some I did have issues regarding the um, English. Yeah. Regarding, yeah, I've totally forgotten. The level crossing at the bottom caused it to be a bit steep, but it's acceptable in my opinion. I was like trying to build this road over, and it's just like it's not worth it. So I just didn't bother. And actually, it's fine. It's all right. So we'll live with it. But this could kind of deserve to be a time lapse anyway. So I guess it's not too bad that I'm having to voice it over now. But yeah, we're building these grids. I'm not sure if I said earlier. We are building these grids to have Brooklyn and Queens, English please, residential assets. The only way to form terraces, we're going to be doing that. In vanilla, the only way to have terraces in vanilla. Good title. I'm going to use it actually for a new fall episode in the kind of distant future. But yeah, it's all good, and I think it comes out really well. Unfortunately, the city decides to kill itself. It is what it is. It's acceptable. No, it's not. But that's just what happens when you import a save. It's fine. I don't know why. It whatever. So yeah, I actually end up splitting this into 2 districts. One for the European suburbia, one on the right. We're going to be, going for some 2x2 European suburbia on the right, and some Brooklyn and Queens on this side. Yeah, we are going for some 4x4 towards the railway line. But yeah, here, we're going to go for terraces. And there's actually quite a lot of terrace models that can form, so I was just not that bothered about getting them to be exactly the same one. That's just a bit excessive. And it still took a long time. I actually did it off camera, not even in a time lapse, because it did take just too long. So,
time lapse is ending in a minute. Oh, well, not ending. The time lapse is going to speed up in a minute. But I actually end up doing more than I go on and build quite a lot of the town, because I realise it's just not practical to do it on camera. So I'll do a little bit on camera and then we'll not do this. But this is the harbour we're building. We're going to be building a harbour just because it is, I don't know, I just want to build a harbour. And this is the first time I built it. I actually had to rebuild it twice to get it just right. So this is not the finished model. So don't worry if you don't like it at the moment. It'll get better. But I'll hop off voice and just let you enjoy some music.
I did more than I said I was going to do. I said I was just going to terraform up here, and now look, the whole town's built. It was going to be an awful video if I didn't do that, and the reason is, vanilla is just a bit complicated for me, and just waiting for the last few things to come through. Excuse me while I do this. I'm trying to get a specific Art Deco asset. I think it's a 4x4, but we'll try it 3x3. I don't mind the laundromat, I would quite like it here. So that's fine. That's cool beans. We've got lots of bus lines coming in from throughout the city, just dragged them over. Some unfinished looking bus lines over here and here and here and here, and all of that. Brought the tram in, on the tram turnaround, and I did a lot. So let's just start over here. An overview of what we've done. So, brought in a quay and built a bridge, built a beach out. Might have to continue this beach out to get around this pier, that's a good point. Didn't think of that. But yeah, anyway, brought a quay along, then brought the beach out so we could put the quay there, because obviously shoreline is required. Done a little amusement park area here. Actually dragged this park over from somewhere else in the city. Yeah, over here. Let's get the name over there because I don't want the name over here. And it's just, yeah, it's cool. It's cool beans. Seem to be having a death problem here. Oh, they arrived. So yeah, we put in this a bit of a different shape. We've got our seaside resorts pier. Well, pier was very relevant for the historical seaside town in this area. Maybe the entire town started as a seaside fishing village, like here, and expanded from there. And that's why all the skyscrapers are over here, because this is the historical area, and that's just the way the city grew. I don't know. This is lore. You can make some in the comments, because I'll be posting a shorter video reviewing the whole thing next week, alongside my Transport Fever 2 video. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, came along, did some more of these. Zoned some 1 by 1. European suburbia assets, and the reason is I feel like they're the closest you can get in the vanilla game to beach huts, and I quite like the idea. So I don't know, I think they're quite cool. Let me know what you think of them in the comments. I don't mind that. So I don't mind actually the little Euro suburbia here either. Just, I don't know, just little cabins. Maybe people can stay there, maybe people own them and come here as their getaway. Realised you can make a path connection there. The detailing will come later, but we've got all of our Euro suburbia in. This district has 608 people. This one has 2,136. It's amazing the difference high density and low density is. I mean, you know, it's just great. It's just good. It's all good. I accidentally removed some of my houses. Well, that's annoying. Well, I'm gonna have to get those back, so I'll have to do some more whack-a-mole. That's not ideal. Oh well. That's a shame. I'm keeping this area to do some detailing in. I think we need more landscaping. We brought the train, sorted out the train connection. It's pretty smooth now, apart from here. There's not too much we can do about that though. That's just how it's going to be in vanilla. We've got a lot of overgrowth and stuff. And I also brought some Green Cities commercial here, because we have a bit of a gravelly pattern. I wanted to extend that. I think I might, I will extend gravel paths in the detailing time lapse. Poor man's surface painter. Yeah, it's not an ideal surface painter, but it's alright, it does the job. Might actually get some rock detailing in there. Anyway, why are people actually walking through the... That's quite cool. It's rather steep, but it's quite cool. Why would you want to smoothen it out then? I'm concerned it'll make it worse. So it can't get much worse than it. See? It's better like that. Oh, pressing the wrong button. You're meant to be showcasing your build, not building right now. Okay. So yeah, come along with the commercial front. Actually dropped in the high capacity police station. I think it fits better, kind of boxy, like the Brooklyn and Queens assets. Fire station, red brick. Well, I mean, obvious choice. Diner. I thought that was quite just a nice place to have a modern city-centred mid-century modern diner. And yeah, just primary school over here. I'm gonna have to detail that up, of course. Yeah. Is there anything else? Maybe. Yeah, we keep having fires. It's not ideal. Okay. It's not the asset I wanted, but actually it's quite a good asset. I really, really need that Starlight Hotel to come in. Oh, do you want to see if you can get it here? No. Well, otherwise it's a bit silly we have all of this space. Okay. remove this landscape you did earlier. It's 4x4. I'm pretty confident it's 4x4. I want the Starlight Hotel, the Art Deco asset. I love it. Art Deco is such a good pack. I don't know why everyone says it's kind of average. I guess it's because it doesn't come with the district style, which is fair criticism. That's awful. That's hideous. Delete that. Delete that. Yeah, that was truly abysmal. Try again. See, what it's doing is it's snapping when I don't want it to snap, and then it isn't snapping when I do want it to snap. Well, that's alright. That's not an awful connection. You know, you could just draw a park area. I don't particularly want to, that's the thing. So, yeah. I've done quite a lot, and it's probably time for the detailing time-lapse now.
So, unfortunately, actually, this bit was meant to have audio and it didn't. I put it to a 1.5 time lapse so you can see really what I'm talking about. But this is just after the detailing, as you all know. And for some reason, so I know I said earlier that forgotten to check last time. I've realised that I did the detailing time lapse before this, and it had the microphone on. So I really don't understand why the system decided to switch it off when I wanted it on. So, technology hates me. But I'm just going over the detailing, and the reason I use the suburban fence sometimes when you have two houses in one plot, and I want that to be shown. I realised it wasn't really possible to do it in vanilla. Otherwise, I would have done it for every house. It wasn't really possible to do it in vanilla for the other bits, so I just kind of covered it with trees and left it. And there are some patches without trees, and you'll see actually in the cinematics later on. I'll talk about this after probably, but in the later on cinematics, I will sort it out. So actually, this is my entire detailing review, but I come back later and tell you different stuff. So when I was speaking here, just for context for the next bit, which isn't a while, I said that I couldn't connect the train line, but I'd seen other people using trains, so I was like, whatever. Diana since, and I was, which is why I clarified actually I could, and Diana clarified that on the Discord between then and now, so I'll have a train running later. But yeah, I'm just talking about how annoying the vanilla mechanics are for keys and stuff on keys. Like you could just saw that pier and some of these piers over here as well. It's very irritating. I did ask for vanilla master Jukaboa, but he said, yeah, it's just trial and error. Place it where you can. It is what it is. You have to deal with it. There was some help in lowering the water levels and stuff, but it didn't help that much. But oh man, I'm really, really happy with how this came out. I really am. And I'll say that later on as well. But honestly, just for me building in vanilla, that's new. Um, yeah, whatever. But goodness, I'm very, very pleased with this. It the beach houses, the as I said earlier, make by one European suburbia. It all just came together really well, and the harbour's a nice centrepiece, if not entirely true to British harbours in real life. Neither of the buildings, so it doesn't really have to be true as long as it looks good, and I'm very pleased with it. Station actually, not sure if I said earlier, but the reason I put the station on the harbour is because of real life towns in the UK at least have stations on piers. It's called, and the station will be the name of the town pier. That'll be good. Trying to get a better office asset to grow in there. So at this point, whilst doing the detailing review, I've done most of the detailing. There are a couple of buildings I'm waiting to grow in, and that's fine. So yeah, just did some eatery areas, and lots of trees, basically trees galore. Trees really, really help make the area better, and I actually say that later on. So kind of mirroring stuff, but it's a bit, it can only be so good if you're recording after the fact. And so yeah, that's really what I have to say, and man, that I'm just so pleased with it. So just the trams moving around and everything. It's just great. And I think I'm just sitting here because it is nice to have just a step back. Anyway, coming back in, did a lot of filling out this area with gravel paths. So what I intended to do, just waiting for some assets to grow in, so might as well knock those ones down. I don't want, but if you saw earlier, and you may want to rewind, I was using gravel paths, and I continued that motif with some Green Cities commercial, and that works really quite well. Gravel paths very, very heavily featured in this build, just because it works best with the seaside kind of idea. You'll see lots of box trucks that aren't vanilla. Don't worry, they're not part of the build. They're just Larry Skylines content creator box trucks. And I was like, I just accidentally left some assets, but all the assets in the build are vanilla. I have made sure of that.
So, I've realised I was a bit wrong earlier in saying that I couldn't connect up the train line. I could, as long as it didn't destroy any buildings, so I've done that successfully. I was going to run intercity trains, but I realised I forgotten to not include the intercity train assets that I was using in Newfall, so I don't want to cheat, quote unquote. So won't be seeing any intercity trains, but we do have our train line that comes and serves a lovely station on this pier. I didn't end up getting the Art Deco building I wanted, but I was like, the marketplace is red brick, it's quite small, I think it fits. It'll do the job. I'm very, very pleased with this. I know I've said it before. I know I said I would do cinematics, but I just wanted to interject here to say, so yeah, I've got that in. I have got this in, a lovely taller block, and still looking for a, actually that's a decent office asset. Have loads of more fires, of course. It's all blackened. And actually I increased the size of the beach here. Just did a little extra beach, thought it was quite cute. We had some terrain stuff, much more janky than this earlier, and I wanted to sort it out. I might come back before next week, obviously, and fix that even more. But overall, I mean, it's looking good. It's looking good. For someone who doesn't play vanilla very often at all, I'm very pleased with this. I'm pleased I took up my time, because initially I felt it wasn't looking that promising, but I think after detailing the trees, I mean, trees really do make or break a build. I mean, just this with trees is so good compared to without trees. Especially here, when only recently I added these trees, and man oh man, they made a lot of positive improvements. You may have seen actually some modded trees sneak in. I have gone through and deleted all of the ones I can find. I apologise, that was an accident. I forgot they were in my tree brush. But yeah, I think it is all pretty much vanilla. And goodness, I'm really liking this build. And the fact I got the train lines quite smooth, I'm very proud of that. Not here, but that's because the node is here. And it is what it is. Whoops, I didn't mean to press that. How many have got come? Where's the intercity train? Not intercity, where's the train? It's arriving. How many is it picking up? It's got 77 and it's waiting for us. And 100 are waiting. So I think one train is alright for this line, but it's good that it's a busy line. Fairly busy. And oh my goodness. That's just lovely. I'm really pleased with that. Why is it moving so fast? I want to know. I hate the trains in vanilla. Some people want the boats to be fixed. Some people want car AI to be fixed. I want trains to be fixed in the sequel, because that's also horrendous. But it's unfixable at the moment in vanilla, and if I did anything else, it would cause more jankiness, unfortunately. But yeah, let's just sit on the pier, fade out this shot, and enjoy the cinematics.